4 корабля новых. Эта игра-то собираюсь попасть в новую экспедицию. Это еще не закончилось. Смотрим, что еще происходит, собственно, на фрейте. Слушаю про реальные следы на полях, которые иногда оставляют очень интересные лекции.
This is the most impressive crop picture of the year. It's called the Mother Glass crop picture. About a month ago, at Anstey Farm Shop. And what happened is, let's just go look at it. What happened is, and over here, you'll notice the letter 16 for the year 2016. Can you see that? And here it was. What happened was, we'll look at some photos. Got some drone photo. What happens is, there's a lady there who makes corn mazes every year at the farm shop to pick your own. And she makes corn mazes to talk to extraterrestrials. She leaves a little maze in the corn. People come in. This year she went on holiday, July 31st. There's no maze. She goes away, comes back August 5th, comes home. There's a crop circle right where she draws some corn maze. They even put a crop circle right there. So this is a very impressive thing. What are we looking at? Look at it. What are we looking at? Let's zoom in a little bit more. So there's really a lot of detail here. We just forget the human hypothesis. But still we don't know what it means. So a couple of days go by and nobody knows what it means. Just that it's very, very impressive. You know, the leaves and all that. So there's symbols around the outside. And all those things. Nobody's decoded those symbols yet. This looks like Taurus the bull. Serpents. Very, very impressive. You haven't seen it before. Hydra. So, what does it mean? People go immediately the first day. I know these people, and they take photos of the ground. That's what crop people do. Have they been crushed or not crushed? Even on the first day, the flowers were still blooming where the crop picture appeared a few days later. So nothing crushed these things. How can a flower be blooming where you just run over with rubber boards? There's not a sign. Look at that. There's not a sign of any damage. Do you see any damage? Okay, so we got an extraterrestrial crops, but what does it say? So a few days went by, and then the mystery deepened. It became deeper. It's a dope crop picture, marijuana smoking, apparently. And what happened was, people look around, the flower of life, let it grow like at Nimbin. I used a Nimbin slide here. But apparently, this is the symbol, a little plant growing up in the middle. There's a company in America called Mothership Glass, and what they do, they make bongs, high-priced artistic bongs for dope smokers. Of course, when you pay $10,000 for a bong, you're not going to smoke out of it. You store it on the shelf. It's a collector's item. And this is the logo, or close to the logo, Mothership Glass. So, the next thing people thought, you know, this shows the three-dimensional perspective. Look at that. See how the plants sort of coming at you? I found that little plant image. That was the closest I found. And this is, see how it's coming up at you? The plant's growing out of the flower, and around it you can see the flower of life. There's a flower of life around it. This is the flower of life. No, it's not. I know it's not marijuana. So I'll come to that in a second. So now let's look at the symbols. Someone said it's man-made. Here's the logo of the company. Mothership Glass, and people wondered what these lines were. So finally on the third or fourth day, I got high resolution, 30 high-res photos, like 5 megs, from the guy who photographed it, Matthew Williams, thank you for giving the photographs. And I realized that this simple logo, look at the logo, was these lines. So there are lots of little lines, and no one could have done that with rubber boards. It was very highly patterned. Those lines around the outside. Let's zoom in a little more. And you can see here, there's the logo, and look at that. Around there, and then you see all these little imagine doing that. Look at the little things. There's just details everywhere. My friends went there and took photos of her, you know. So it's very highly impressive. This was crop circle of the year. Matthew Williams took these photos. So thank you, Matthew. And I got the high resolution, like 5 megabyte base versions from his so I could blow them up. You can see every blade of grass, so you can look at the whole thing before anybody walked on. So no human did this. But the mystery is still there. How could you have a logo from this bong company in Washington, a small bong company, appear in a field in England, and then these strange symbols? the symbols. So here are the symbols. And then finally I figured out, look, the letter H appears twice, the symbol appears twice, so that's how you've got to read it. Because there are only two H's, so that has to be the H. But there are all these other symbols. So I posted that. Because that's pretty easy decoding. There's only two H's, but not two S's, two R's. But still we know what the symbol means. So the mystery deepened. So, one second, come back to this. So the man, anyway, so at this point we had to contact the CEO. And if you call him a CEO of a bond company, the guy, 4 years old, no smokers. And we had to contact him and find out, did he have any involvement? And he's been dead quiet, he won't respond. I have a friend on Facebook who knows his brother-in-law, and I said, well, let the brother-in-law ask him. No response. So he's been dead quiet. So there's a mystery between. So we don't really know still. Everybody's investigated. Javi Masson's investigated. Gary King's investigated. There's no claim whatsoever from the Mothership Glass people they knew anything about this. So we have two options. First of all, he's making a joke, clearly, the extraterrestrial guy. The two options are A, he has some relation to the guy, the CEO there, a contactee, and they did it as a joint joke. B, the guy in the Washington, the young guy, is about 40, knows nothing about this, and the ET guy just got it off the web as a joke by Googling Mothership Glass. Just Google Mothership Glass and you'll find this. Okay? So we don't know. There's some extra, it's clearly humorous, but we still can't find a month later. Everybody's investigated, and very mysterious. Now, there are two metaphors associated with this. One is, I jumped to it too soon, that he could be up in his mothership looking down at it through the glass, and he said, what am I going to do next? Oh, I know what. I'm going to Google Mothership Glass and see if I can't find anything. And he found it, and it went on from there, okay? Which means he's not far away. He's using our web, people watching this talk. The second metaphor, and there's the logo of the company, and this is a crop circle. Except the symbols have been replaced. Instead of mothership, you have these symbols. The other interesting thing is when you look where the symbols came from, they're not on his web page. This is on his web page, and I did a search that later evening, where these symbols come from? And it turned out they're only on the Facebook page. And they were only posted July 2nd in very small print, so no one would have noticed them. So people searched, of course, when you get one of these, hundreds of people start detective work, so they came to me. So these symbols have only been on his Facebook page July 2nd onward, and only twice, and they were in tiny print. No one ever even paid any attention. So the whole thing remains a complete mystery, apart from the fact that they can read our Facebook and our web pages. Now, the other way is when I looked at it, I said, maybe it doesn't mean we're looking at that. Maybe a glass is like binoculars. Because you look to where it was drawn, there's a little glass here like a man's head, and he's looking out at the mothership. Can you see our mothership yet? So there's a double meaning. We don't know which it is yet. But they're both pretty clever, aren't they? Mothership Glass, and it's still a mystery. People have been investigating it. Clearly a joke. We don't understand what's going on. Now, a few days after this amazing crop picture appeared, some debunkers tried to spread a fake cover story it had been made by a local man with broken boards. The cover story lasted about 6 hours because the man they claim made it denied involvement. And still the British press kept spreading this worldwide in all their things, even though they had it was completely baseless. And I know it was British intel doing this. I'm not allowed to say because I'll get sued. I know exactly who was doing it. They're paid debunkers, okay? And they're part of, if there was nothing to be covered up, why did the debunkers go to so much effort? And I'm going to explain how the debunkers work. They work by, this is relevant, I'm not exaggerating, this is relevant to the next thing I'm showing. Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi, said if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. And this is what the British debunkers and the British press does. And Joseph Goebbels was such a nasty man that Goering, the German general, was worried Hitler was spending too much time with him because he might corrupt Hitler. So even the generals didn't like Goebbels because he would just lie constantly. And this is what they're doing, and I'll come back to that. You'll see why the crop artist thinks exactly the same. I'll show the crop artist in a minute. So they're just doing that, and everybody in England believes it. They still believe it. You're the only ones you see don't believe it. So if you're an English person watching this, now you know you've been lied to, and they're following the Goebbels debunking philosophy. Now, a few days later, the Nazi business, a week ago, a swastika appeared not far from Avebury. And This was mysterious because the British people freaked out. Oh, Nazis, Nazis, but it wasn't that at all. Here it was. So what happens is in that particular field, the AETs have patterned the background field, not using rope and board, some other method. So there's an image of a man's face winking. And this is the Quetzalcoatl headdress face. There's no doubt this is the legendary Quetzalcoatl, the Kukulkan, the favor of the Mayans. And he's shown this image many times. A man's face winking. See, can you see everyone see that? There's the open eye, there's the closed eye. And right where he has the third eye, he drew the swastika, like that. His third eye, there's the Buddha with the swastika. Tibet, symbol of Tibet. And the reason he did this is because the Tibetan swastika is his third eye. There's no doubt why he did this. It's a message. Not the German swastika, but so it's a. Just imagine that it's a biting social commentary. I'll show you in a second. This is a close-up of it, the swastika with the 4 dots. And this is in a Tibetan monastery in Lhasa. Yeah, from there, from a German shrine. And here's Tibet, and there's the monks from the monastery went up, and they dropped the dots. So if you wonder where this came from, and this is what it means, I'll just shortcut. The only swastika which our friend will wear is a mark of the Buddha. He won't wear the swastika of the modern intelligence services. And I can tell you this is the correct interpretation, okay? He regards them like Nazis, the debunkers, and he just made this beautiful mother glass crop picture, and they're spread it all around the world, lying to people. Instead of saying, hey, look at this, they lied to everybody. And I know who they are, and I can't, as I said, you want to put it on YouTube, but we don't want to be sued. Okay? So he's the mark of the Buddha, it's his swastika. You happy with that, people? Favors Tibetan Buddhism? Now, let's just see who is he. If you go in close, you'll see within the arms of the swastika, there are little symbols. What does that look like? A serpent, a smiling serpent. Here's an L for love. Over here, there's a little man's face, L for love. And what? And we can get some close-up images. Close-ups on the give you the high-res images. Here's one. Matthew Williams flew over it. And here's the smiling serpent. There are 2 different smiling serpents. There's this one over here. There's this little smile there. Can everyone see that? Can you see that? 2 different images. Serpent, smile, pattern of friends. Smile. Now there's if we go to the other side, we see the face of the crop artist. Now this is a little thing, but there's a little headdress, like a Mayan headdress. These feathers, which is right over here. And here's a man with a beard. Little pointy nose, mustache, beard, and that's why he swept the crop sideways to represent a beard. So he's patterning his schematic face, nose, mouth, the crops. This is done in other cases. This is quite often. So there's no doubt the crop artist is human-looking, and he's got a mustache, beard. I'll show you another one in a second. So this is the man who's making this. He's not a gray alien. It's impossible. The feathered headdress, the famous Aztec headdress. Quite impressive, really, when you consider what was done. Now, here's another face, exactly the same field, 3 years before. Here he drew his face again, humorously, with Mayan symbols all around. Here's eyebrows, the gesture, eyebrows, the nose, the 2 eyes, his 2 long earlobes, the 3 dots, his mustache, and his beard. Exactly the same field, not far away, but just a few years earlier. And interestingly, this is the Quetzal who Billy Meyer met, the UFO contactee in Switzerland. Remember Billy Meyer? This is Quetzal, the spaceship captain from the Pleiades, in charge of Earth. So you think of a bit of resemblance, don't you? You know if it's true or not. His long ears, the Plejaren are supposed to have longer ears than us. So he took his long ears higher. This is really quite impressive. So he was sort of saying, oh, I'm getting some truth here. Now these are actual images of Quetzalcoatl from 2,000 years ago. Authentic historical images. This is in the British Museum. I took one from it myself. Pollen and shed with little cups over there. This is the feathered serpent. This little controlling device, flying snake. And this is the jester. This was in Lamenta, Tabasco. 3-lobed jester's hat. Which will come back. And here's ears, got something on the my side. So the odds are he lived in with the Mayans 2,000 years ago. Now, there's the space-time traveler Quetzalcoatl who once lived in Central America with the Mayans, apparently come from the Pleiades. And will we see his mothership soon in the sky? These are the big questions for me. So let's just address that with facts. This was another crop picture last year, another humorous one, in Holland, where Robert photographed in Vandenberg. And there's a picture of the Pleiades star cluster in the middle of an eye. In other words, he's looking at the Pleiades. Let's just zoom in here so we'll see it. Here's some of the tufts, different stars in the Pleiades star cluster. And these actually match. This was the best photo I could get. So he's drawing the Pleiades into crops. So that strongly implies that's where it comes from. So the Pleiades is right there. Coming from the Pleiades. That's where Billy Myers said Quetzal come from the Pleiades. The same guy Billy Myers said these people have come from the Pleiades to see me. And here's another one. This was last year, about 2014. A Quetzal bird is flying toward Earth from the Pleiades. This is the landscape they drew it there. Here's the little Quetzal bird flying, and there's the Pleiades. Now, what is this symbol? It's the universal hexagram. Love is the law, love under will. So he's drawing himself looking out with two little eyes, and these two little feathers you just saw the turkey shoot. Love is the law. And it's called the universal hexagram. Do what you worship in the whole of the law. Love is the law, love is the will. Now, this year, the reason I put that in, because it appeared again this year. This year, a few weeks ago, he drew it again in crops, Rachel Hampton. This was in 2014, 2016. There's another hexagram carved into crops. Love is the law. This was in England. I know where that is. A few weeks ago, August 8th. So they're coming again the same way. And interestingly about this one, there was you think this was artificially made? There were two crop pictures made in 2015, and they were here and here. And here. So these are called ghosts. If there's a crop picture in a previous year, the crops don't grow properly. So they're there. They're in 2015. These were crop pictures. 2016, they're ghosts, and this is what they look like. This is an actual photograph of Matthew, and he drew it here. And what they were doing is, for that day, they were drawing a sky alignment of 3 planets, a sky triangle. They did this 4 times this summer, of what the Saturn, Mars, and Ceres look like. So it's very clever. They use a ghost to create a little astronomical drawing over a space of a year. Recently, I'm going to bring you up to the very latest information on crop circles in the last week. This thing up here, you know, figured out that it was star trails. It's a star streams. Stars moving. So they're telling us, look at the night sky, you know, the sky's there. Now, crop circles can be viewed in 2 different ways. Typically, they have double metaphors depending how you look at them. Now this is the schematic of what you saw. There's the star trail. But if you turn it the other way, it looks like an eye. So they're telling us we can star trails, or we can watch the night sky. Look at the night sky. There it's going. We should watch it. And this is how they communicate. They think differently. Like these 2 things. Maybe they have a 2-track mind. They're thinking with the eye and the thing that's associated. You watch parallel processing. You should watch the night sky. So is the mothership soon? I don't know. It's very clever. And here's another one. If you look in closely at it, here are 2 of them in the same field. This was from 2014. His little eye had LASIK surgery, like I had eye surgery, to help us see better. This is a laser surgery, and there's a little serpent going over the pupil of the eye. We're going to see the serpent. And over here is the eye, and there's another little serpent image you see there. There's a fish there. I won't explain that. We're going to see the serpent when we look in the night sky, the little smiling serpent. So will we look up in the sky and see him soon? I think it will be this year, I suspect. And then just a few days ago, this was the last crop picture of 2016, continuing in a humorous fashion. The jester. I showed you he's got a jester's hat in ancient Central America, wearing this little hat, walking the room wearing a jester's hat, right? So he drew the jester's hat in crops below the moon again. There's the jester's hat. There's little symbols here. There's some other things that it means, but it's an instrument landing system. This is near Southend Airport in London. So this is where the flight path where you fly into Southend Airport. And there's an instrument landing system. So the jester is flying into the airport. So this was the last crop. This means something. I won't get into it. This was the last crop picture of the year. So the big question now is we sort of know what's going on. Let's just have a summary of all of this. We may be close to ET contact this year, 2016. We have the mothership glass. We have all this going on. I won't say, but pretty close. At least we could see them up in the sky. They're telling us to watch the night sky. Secondly, there's a conflict between ETs. There's not just one. Some are friendly to us, the Joker, the Earthers we talked about, and the Pleiadians. Others aren't friendly, the Greys, Viranas, and the Reticuli. They plan to deceive us, and they tend to take over Earth using a Trojan horse strategy. And however shocked you are, this is the reality of it. The Trojan horse, which is what you would do. Now, the reason they want to disclose, because of this threat, the human races may force us to disclose early. So they're going to force disclosure. They're not going to wait for the governments. They're going to force us to disclose and defend ourselves. So this was the final line of the Emertha Code. You can't get any clearer than this. Royal Emertha warning: expose foreign technology to all. Evolutionary advancement needed to prevent takeover. So all these crop circles, all these messages, all have to do with this. Our governments are sitting on technology which we need to advance the planet, defense-wise, technology-wise. And they're probably keeping it secret for military purposes, like we don't want Russia and China to have it. However, in order to save ourselves, we need to expose that, the fusion technology, the defense technology, all around the world, so that corporations and academics have it. And if you go back to that Linda Howe Alien Contact CJ, if you Google that, he talks about that for 30 minutes, exactly what the purpose of the Emerthas are. All the secret technology has to be brought out and shared with all the academics, all the corporations, with the people. No more lies. The lies have to end. We can't have the USA sitting there in Area 51 talking to the aliens. They give them some information. They're going to keep it just because America will be more powerful. Because the reason we can't do that is when we have other threats more dangerous than Russia and China. Russia and China are not our threats compared to the other races, the Greys. So there's a conflict going on. We're sort of in a Cold War conflict. And that's the overall summary of everything. There's no doubt this is going on. And that puts the context to all these things. Various races, and we're sort of like the little cheese in the middle. Did I explain that to everyone? So it's a serious thing. Yep.
Помоги мне это включить телефон. Я понимаю,
Mr. Jara, Hugh Brunner, Hugh Newman, Paul was a friend of mine. Gary, I was talking last night. Lucy Friedman, who I know, there's a nice Italian woman, Valeria, and her friend Sylvia, who flies the airplane. They've all taken all these great photos. We all the Dutch people, Janet Oxenbaum, Rick Jensen, Robert Michelle, took the photos like that. Linda Howe files just used to celebration. Jaime and Fernando, who I know, Mexican TV, they spread them from Mexico. Mexico has its own UFO show, we don't. So the Mexican people aren't being kept stupid like we are. He tells them.
способ напряжен, можно купить ингредиенты суперпродукта. Можно избавиться. Сам же может бывать из разницы.
So he's telling the people, the Mexican people know, and the U.S. people say, oh, it's all skeptical. So what I'd like to do now, I'm tired of talking, I can't communicate any better, and I'll take questions briefly if we have time. That last one was about 250, huge, like 200, 300 meters. Some of them are small, like 50 meters, but they go up to 300 meters. They can be as large as 300 meters, but they are so small as 20 or 50 meters. This was quite a, I was just looking at crop circle instead of me. This was quite a big one. Just look at that. Look at it compared to everything else. It's quite a big crop circle, isn't it? Yeah, compared to the buildings. And the 16 over here. So I saw that as soon as I looked at it. 16, year 2016. So they're big. All the races all these advanced races can time travel. So there's no doubt space travel, time travel, the Earth area stuff. So the reason that they would rather influence our advance indirectly than come down and land. For example, they might choose to win their election, the American election. That's a big choice. So if they can swing that, they would change all of history. I don't know who they support, okay? But no, I'm not sure who they support. However, of course, if Trump gets in, the UFO cover-up's over. So there would be people on that basis. He would blab it. He's not keep his mouth shut anything. But Hillary and Bill Clinton, they know about UFOs. Of course, they're not afraid. Maybe they talk, but Hillary would blab it. So maybe they would favor Trump for that reason, even though you might not like his other policies. I don't know. Oh. You get all time travel. Can I answer? That's what Patty Greer thinks, and Gary, some people think spirits or whatever. However, associated with these crop pictures, we have orbs flying around, just like UFO orbs. Just like you see on your, and my friends, close friends of mine, go to a crop picture, there's an observational orb in her photo, so there's like dozens of pictures of these UFO orbs. So it's possible by as a mechanism they come out of the ground to make them. However, there's no doubt that the technology makes them. And these high-tech mechanical devices, gravity-powered little rugby balls that fly around. And they're the same as the Foo Fighters in World War II. So the Foo Fighters in World War II are the same as the crop circle technology. So it's difficult to associate that with something come out of the ground. Now, I haven't shown them because I've written many articles. I just didn't show them this talk. I showed one. The mechanism, the energy they use to make the circles isn't very quite low resolution. So until we determine the mechanism, Or downstairs.
When you were saying one of the photos, can you see us yet? The one with the planet X.
Excuse me?
When
Which
you were
one?
saying, when the phone was wrong, with the time travel saying, can you see us yet?
Oh,
Well, look up, can you survive to see us yet? I wonder if that's planet X.
it could be. However, he chose the mothership glass symbol that we're going to see. So I think he's trying to tell you we're going to see a mothership. And it could be a quite big mothership, like the Great Spacer, 10 miles long. What if it's 10 miles long and he's a captain, you know? I've always thought that, you know, the other crop pictures I won't tell you. The other crop pictures showing that in 2012 they left the Pleiades and they got here and came to a world dated.
Хорошо.
For 4 years they've been in transit with the Pleiades to come here. And there's a mothership, so they're on top of the bigger station. So they may have taken transit with the Pleiades. So I'm not sure where they are. They're getting the mothership. This particular Pleiades is supposed to be mobile. And the right area they come along to those Pleiades and they'll be working together. I don't know, but there's some of them, the ones I showed you are from 8,000 AD, 6,000 years in the future. And that's the Rendlesham Forest case. There are people like us, probably from a different universe, but they live on Earth 6,000 years from now. So you can imagine in 6,000 years they're coming back. And there's quite a lot. I could talk about time travel just as much as time travel, but I didn't know. So time travel is a very big element. In our future, 6,000 years from now, they know how to time travel. So these could be all time travel. That's right. What if we go to the stars and the aliens we see now are us? 6,000 years from now, we go to the stars and they come back from different stars 6,000 years from now and they're us. So we don't know. We look different. We don't know.
Все, с вами здесь завершена.